Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. Now, one thing I've learnt in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. My guest today became a household name in the 1990s as Nurse Ellen Crozier on Shortland Street, so we already know who she is. Her popularity grew even more as the leopard print-clad matriarch Cheryl West on Outrageous Fortune. Since then, Robyn Malcolm has appeared in a wide range of film, TV and theatre roles, most recently the likes of Far North, Sweet Tooth and Black. There is a lot in here, Robyn. Now Robyn, she's laughing at me. Robyn has a new series out on TVNZ1 next week. It's called After the Party, a show that Robyn created and stars in. Robyn joins me this week to chat about the show, her reasons for making it, and some advice on speaking out and taking charge is what I thought we might do.
Oh, am I? Oh, goody. Okay.
Robyn Malcolm, welcome in.
Thank you very much. That's quite... Robyn Malcolm, welcome.
Robyn Malcolm, welcome.
Robyn Malcolm, welcome.
Robyn Malcolm, welcome. Okay, here's my housekeeping. 2 rules.
Yep.
First is I'm allowed to ask you anything, but you don't have to answer.
Sweet as.
Yeah, because that's... And the second is we do a safe space. So my daughter and I call it the no judgy zone.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's sort of... That's the thing that, I felt that was so important when my boys were little, was just learning not to judge.
Yeah.
Just don't judge. You don't know. You don't know what someone else's life is.
And there for the grace of God.
And there for yeah, that one too.
Hey, well, let's see how smug you are.
Yeah. Don't throw stones in this glass house because we're all in it.
No. My daughter's now 36 and we were sitting there the other day, we were on the phone and anyway, we were talking about someone and as you do and oh God, and I heard that, she's leaving the husband and she's did you God? I hope she's all right. And then we both went, but no judgy.
No judgy. No judgy.
No judgy.
I love it.
Therefore,
I love it.
Okay, quick fire. Mm-hmm. Do you cook?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so who would you have at the dinner party and what would you cook them?
Are we talking fantasy or real?
Whatever you like. Fantasy.
Okay. So live or dead?
Anything you like.
Oh, well, if it was realsies, I'd just invite my actor mates because there's nothing better than a bunch of actors around the table because I've got opinions on everything. Yeah. And those opinions change quite regularly.
And quite loud, I imagine.
Quite loud.
Yeah.
But not young ones because they don't drink. The young ones are so healthy now, so it would have to be older actors because they're the only ones that drink. If it was fantasy, I'd kind of have a version of Top Girls the play, and it's not that I don't love men, and I don't think that men in history are obviously phenomenal because they made it as far as we know, but women from history like Boadicea and Queen Elizabeth and Emily Dickinson and...
Even our own Kate Shepherd.
And our own Kate Shepherd and... Dame Tutankhamun Sullivan and just a really awesome collection of women. It would be them.
Fascinating.
That would be fascinating because so much of those stories aren't told. I mean, they're the ones that, their stories have been told, but just to get their take.
And from their perspective, instead of kind of that telling the story now from someone else's.
Yeah.
As to, and the sacrifices they must have made for the passion. We're going to talk a lot about, actually, we won't leap there because we are going to talk a bit about, as I sort of said, your own passion and how you bring that and how you help other people sort of do that. So we're going to chat about, taking charge, and that's those women that you're mentioning is exactly what they've done. But firstly, let's get to know you a little bit. So you grew up in the South Island?
Yep.
Yeah. How would you describe your childhood? 4 girls, eh?
4 girls. Dad was a maths teacher. Mum trained as a dietitian and worked as a dietitian, but stopped working when she had kids and did other work, which was, 24/7 mother. And solid, lovely, without too much outward event, like well cared for, well loved,
Is sisters fun? I didn't have a sister.
Oh, sisters are lethal.
Yeah, well.
Lethal. We used to pay my third sister down 50 cents to go away. Yeah. And we used to pay the younger one 50 cents to blow on our nails.
Okay.
So there was a lot of economics in there.
Yeah.
We used to lie under each other's beds and record private conversations and then play them back to parents just as it. So kind of, we didn't punch each other up too much, but we were
manipulative. Girls can be. And they're smarter,
clever,
right? Yeah.
Really clever. But we all played in a string quartet because we all played musical instruments and Dad played the piano. We all sang in choirs. I was the only one who was useless at sport. Actually, no, Suze was pretty useless too. There were two of us who were useless at sport. There were the other two who were extremely good. So well-rounded, I think, well-rounded South Island childhood.
So you've talked about having a eating disorder at a relatively young age, eh? And I think it's important to talk about, right? There'll be parents out there listening that are worried, about their child. Yeah. So can you talk to what that was like for you and your family? And did you know that you had the disorder?
No, I didn't. I just knew that I just thought there was something wrong with me. I mean, I think what's really great for kids now, and thank God, because they've got a lot to deal with now, is that we have language for them. So, like my boys, they talk constantly about the stuff that's going on for them and the stuff that's going on with their friends at school, and they've got a mental health language, whereas back then I didn't have that. And I think also we were part of a kind of a generation, and perhaps more a South Island generation, where we were a good solid Presbyterian family, so you didn't talk too much. And my family were great talkers, but we tended to sit around the dining room table and discuss politics rather than feelings. So when I was really struggling, and I reckon it probably started around about 11, so around about puberty. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I had a serious problem with food, and I look back now and I had a serious problem with self-image, and my mum, everybody, they tried to help, but looking back, probably what I needed was for it to be seen, rather than made better, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But, parents, as we all are as parents, you do the best that you can with the knowledge that you've got. And so it remained a sort of an internal struggle and a secret struggle and a shame thing.
So were you just not eating, or were you?
No, I would binge. I would binge and then not eat and throw up, and binge and then not eat and throw. I was.
So that's self-shame.
Oh, awful!
Oh,
2 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget it. 2 o'clock in the morning. I was just a wee poppet. I was like 12, in the dark, in the laundry where the freezer was, eating ice cream and sobbing, like not able to stop. It was like I guess you'd call it, it was a food addiction that then in the morning I would have to try and purge, or I would then starve myself for days, and then I would, it was that cycle, and it went on for years. And as I got older, I got better at managing it, and I still look back at it and go, I don't know where that came from. Apparently, they're saying now that there is a genetic a component to that, to eating disorders, and that it's connected to other things as well. So maybe. I don't know. I mean, I look at, how we...
of course you do.
Whenever you go and get shrunk by anybody, they always say, go back and look at, talk to your young self. And I just look back at this little person who was just struggling so badly with it and go, oh, I wish I could have helped you.
So did acting help? And why did that help then? Because it just seems, not odd, but, you sort of go, here's someone who's dealing with body issues and self-shame and almost anxiety must have been around that, and then you go and put yourself in the spotlight and go, it's all about me.
I know, but it's not about me because I'm being somebody else. I'll never forget when I was doing Top of the Lake, with Jane and Jane Campion, and she said to me in a rehearsal, I was being this absolute overacting car crash, and she came up to me and she put her hand on my forearm and she said, "You know, I already love you. You know, I know you can act. You don't have to prove it to me. Just give me you." And I remember getting really teary and going, "Yeah, but that's not what we do as actors. The reason we became actors is so we didn't have to be us." And she went, "Yeah, that's the trick. You think that you're being somebody else, but actually to really communicate what's going on, you've got to give them you." And I didn't know that that's what I was doing. So to answer your question, I was putting masks on to be an actor, but actually what I was doing was giving an audience me. And the equation of that really helped. It was like, "Yeah, no, you're good." And you go, no, I'm this character. No, it's you we're seeing. And we're happy with that.
Yeah.
So that it saved my life in a lot of ways.
Because those characters they come to life because of you, and they must come to life in you. I mean, it won't surprise you with me being Westie, how much of a fan, I am of Outrageous, and the whole West family, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not kidding. And I bet this happens to you. I would walk into a bar in Wellington and they would put Gutter Black on for me because they kind of saw me as Mrs. West Auckland, you know what I mean? Like, so that whole Westie thing just followed me, and I'd just laugh, so that must happen to you. But so we'll just put my, there's my complete bias towards the show. My Croatians that I know and love out there. You know what I mean? Like, so many elements of the show.
Yes. But that's why that show was loved so much, was because it spoke to something very real
about that
for us here.
Yeah.
In Aotearoa. I mean, everywhere. I mean, that those families exist in Gore.
Yeah.
And,
true.
They exist in Kataia, they're everywhere.
It's fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So for a character like that, you would have been bringing yourself, but you gave her shuzpa, you gave her life, like it's quite incredible.
And it was really, she was great for me because she was sexy and she wasn't frightened of showing off her body. And I'll never forget the late, great Katarina Denave, who was the boss of programming and development at TV3 when we began. So she was instrumental in this show, getting where it got to. And the first year I was Cheryl, I had just given birth 11 months prior. So I had a good muffin, the muffin that I've now got back now postmenopausally, but I started to lose weight over that.
Oh, yeah.
And she rang me up one day and she said, "Hello, Robyn, it's Katarina here." I went, Hi, Kat, how are you? She went, "Don't make me come over there and eat cream with you." And I went, "Pardon?" She said, Don't you dare go all skinny like all those American actresses." She said, "I want you real. I want Cheryl real and authentic, and I want that muffin top over those jeans to stay." And I said to her, "I think you might be the only television executive in the world who's ever said that to an actress."
Yeah, we like your body. Thanks.
Stay where it is. And it was such a great moment of self-affirmation for me, and so that show was great in that way.
And you need confidence, right, to survive in your industry?
Yeah, you do. Oh, God, you do. Because your primary experience is refusal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ruthless, eh?
Yeah, like I spoke to all the Toi Whakaari kids last week and, about what it's being like to be an actor. And you have to say to them, you really have a really good conversation with yourself before you launch into this, because your primary experience will be rejection over and over and over and over again. And you've got to know that you can handle that, because if you can't handle it, get out. Really, get out. Because it's so tough in that way.
Yeah.
But then there's this paradox, because on one hand you've got to be tough, and then you walk on set and you've got to be super vulnerable because you can't act unless you are,
Yeah.
It's weird.
So are you at a point in your age and your career where you have that level of confidence and we're going to talk a bit about having to come up with your own show, which is a sign of that, right? Of being in that sort of stage and everything else. But does it make dealing with the industry easier?
Yeah. I don't know how much of that is about being having been in the industry for a long time or just about getting older. Because you talk to a lot of women over 50 and they just get to that place where they kind of don't give a shit anymore about what people
Yeah,
think.
it's nice, eh?
Yeah. And we all grew up as people pleasers, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some way. We all grew up being very conscious.
Particularly women.
Oh, God, yeah. All grew up being very conscious of how everyone was in the room.
Yeah.
And who am I upsetting? Who am I not upsetting?
Yeah.
Who am I helping out? Who's uncomfortable like that? And then I think as you get older, you're less concerned with that. And that feeling, what I notice is that the feeling that I used to think was selfish, like when you're in your 30s and you go, oh, God, am I being selfish here? Now I'm like, oh, I don't care.
No. I'm
taking care of myself now.
I was shouting out loud like you do, the other day as I was listening to something that was, telling me how to organise my pantry, and that if I'm not decluttering, then I've got some emotional baggage that I need to look at. And I'm shouting and I'm going, or maybe I don't give a shit.
Maybe
there's something I would rather do on a Saturday than go into my junk drawer.
My glorious mother has got a thing on her fridge which says dull women have immaculate houses.
I love it.
I've always loved it.
Yeah, we all need. Okay, up next, we're going to find out all about your new show, After the Party, and get some advice on speaking out and taking charge when it comes to things you are passionate about. Okay, we are back with Robyn Malcolm and into our advice segment. Now, Robyn has been known to be outspoken, something we have in common, I think, a bit. And so we're going to chat about taking charge and speaking out. Straight up, I think we should acknowledge that we have had very different political views in the past. Yeah?
Yep.
And we're both passionate about our own views and when we get there. But don't you think that today's, and I think that's healthy, right? Isn't it great?
Yes.
How boring would it be if we all thought the same and we didn't challenge and we didn't? So that's my stance.
Yes.
Completely.
And you do it healthily, and you do it. I mean, the world events right now are a testament to the fact that if we don't talk, if we don't sit down and find middle ground, like literally, we're in trouble.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was a work thing a couple of years ago, and one of the young ones, she just went, I just want to be really upfront. I don't like you at all, and I'm a big Jacinda fan, and and I would never vote. And I went, oh God, I don't care. And I said, you don't know me to not like me. You know what I mean? Like, you can. But I respect you having completely different, and I don't care.
Really, I had this extraordinary moment when I was doing a show in America, and what happens when you play a support character in a show, in a big show, is that the actors that are on the same sort of playing field as you, we all gravitate together. So we would all go out and hang out, and there was an actor who I didn't work with, but we were sort of we were on the same show and we had time off together. So we would go and we'd hang out, we'd have lunch and we'd chat. And he's this lovely, lovely, lovely guy, married, 3 kids, lived somewhere in the middle America. And just gorgeous human, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And we got on really well and we chatted about acting. And then I found out, and this is not, the specifics are not true, but the idea is right, is that he was a Trump voter and owned 7 guns. And I had to say, okay, you represent everything that I hate about America. But I've got to know you, and you're a really good person, and you're a nice person. And he did the same thing. He then went, oh, I see, you're one of,
Yeah.
But because we already liked each other as humans, we had to talk about it. And we talked and we argued and we talked. And I don't know if we changed, I would say, I don't know if I changed his mind, which was in the end one of my intentions. But it was amazing, and we both acknowledged that. It was an amazing learning curve for me that it's very easy to judge.
Yeah.
It's very easy to label. It's very easy if you're that person, if you vote that way, that you just must be a bad human being. And And it's just not true.
And don't you think it's getting more like that?
Yeah.
Like the divide is getting more. Because none of us are all something.
No, none of us are
and
all
particularly
something.
in New Zealand as well. Let's be really fair. It's an arm length away, not a bloody. It's not the Grand Canyon.
That's right.
Really,
That's
we're a
right.
fairly moderate society compared to a lot of others. But that niggle and that so that's where I was going. So none of us are all of something.
No, none of us are all of something. You're absolutely right.
My passion at the moment is sea cleaners, so I'm picking up rubbish, man. I love it. And I'm on the trustee and I just am a bit bonkers on it, to be really honest. It's
so
just
great.
become, it's like use my talent for good.
Yes.
Not evil.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I can help pull in some money and I love that it's practical and all the rest of it. And someone said to me the other day, I'm just so surprised that you would be into that. And I went, why? Because I'm a centre right voter.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
I was like, we're not all of something. We're all of everything, you know?
We are. And the minute you give someone the space, they will surprise you.
Yeah. So we are getting a bit more niggly though, eh? So how can you be passionate about something? Because you are, I am, we are. So how are we passionate and able to give our view without then either boxing people in or making them feel bad about themselves because they're different?
I was talking about this the other day. I never read the book because, but my dad had on his shelf in the 80s, the 90s, a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I only remember one of the habits because I didn't read the book, but it was seek first to understand, then be understood. And I've always loved that because and social media is functions in an absolutely opposite way to this. Social media is about shouting. It doesn't matter what the platform is. I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. Listen to me. We're not listening, we're just reloading all the time. Whereas if you sit with somebody and you listen, why do you think that? No, instead of why do you think that so I can listen to your argument and catch you out, help me understand you. Yeah. Seek first to understand. Help me understand you. Help me to understand you. And then try. To me, that's the only way forward. I think I've moved along because I was a shouter. Right from early age, and because I grew up in a pretty socialist political family. My father was associate principal of a school in Ashburton College, and he put his name in the paper as someone who opposed the Springbok tour. Yeah. And a number of parents wrote into the school and said they were going to take their kids out of the school because of his political views. So I grew up with that, and that combined with angry teenagehood with an eating disorder. I was quite angry for a long time, so I used to be like this. Yeah. And that's taken me a few decades to kind of, if I look back, things like, say, the Hobbit dispute, I would do that again. Yeah. I'd be cleverer, but it didn't matter how combative that got because I really believed in it. Yeah. You don't want to hurt people. You don't want to hurt people's, hearts, but you do stand up.
You got to stand up for what you believe in as well.
But I think any dispute or anything that I go into now, I'm much more aware of how much if I shout, I won't be heard. If you start shouting and pointing fingers, people just automatically become defensive and they don't hear. Yeah. If you want to get to some kind of resolution, it's
a conversation.
It's
not
a conversation, and it's about being civil.
My mother used to say to me, just because you're louder doesn't make you more right.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. And I absolutely would have fallen into that trap myself. But you learn as you go on and you learn through parenting, don't you? Like I've worked out the times when I've gone, wah, my kids, they don't hear a word. All they hear is, particularly because they're boys, they just hear wah. Whereas if you go, can we talk reasonably? I have calmed down now, and I just need you to hear this, but also I'm here to listen to you. It's made it better.
Yeah.
It's made it better.
Yeah, and it creates the kind of home you want, and hopefully you're growing good humans.
Yeah, but also the life that you want. Because
exactly.
it's so easy, and it's very. I've noticed it within myself that being reactive about something and being absolute is very satisfying.
Yeah.
It feels good to slam your fist down on a table and go, it is like this. This is right. It's very purging. But I don't know that it gets us anywhere much.
No. Okay, we need to talk about the show.
Oh, yes.
We really do, and for so many good reasons. But you and Diane?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Diane Taylor.
Okay, you and Diane Taylor have created this. So you have written, you have...
No, Di did most of the writing.
Yeah.
I've written a few scenes. Di and I spent 2 years around her dining room table and my dining room table. So we got to know each other because she wrote a feature film, which I auditioned for, to play a character that was in their 50s.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for them, but it seemed like I was the right person for the part at one point. But the director came in and cast the actor as the right age, but cast a young actress to play the character that I was up for. And she was in her early 30s, I believe. And she's a wonderful actress.
Yeah.
So
it's not about her. Yeah.
But it was an age thing. And Di was furious. And she said, fuck this. And I'd experienced this a few times, here and overseas, where you go in age appropriate and you lose out to somebody 15 years your junior. They call it aspirational casting. So apparently a 55-year-old woman out in the real world doesn't want to see herself played by a 55-year-old woman. She wants to see herself played by a 35-year-old woman.
Oh, my God.
That's the thinking behind it. So we went, okay, well, what are all the things that make us uncomfortable about women in their 50s, and why don't we put them on screen? Like all those horrendous things that, I don't know why they did it. Meryl Streep and Diane Keaton, they played those, the older people romances, but for them to be palatable, they had to wear white and laugh a lot.
A lot of linen and...
horrendous. So we went, okay, what's the reality of women our age?
And almost hair flicking.
And all that stupid giggling.
Yeah.
Giggling.
Yeah.
So let's find her. So it came out of a character. So we spent a long time talking about women our age. And then from that, there's a thing with drama that to make drama, you got to find a character and put them up a tree and then throw rocks at them. So that's what we did, is we put her up a tree and then we went, what kind of rocks do we want to throw at her? And then the story became bigger and it became about human relationships and shame and struggle and gaslighting and a whole bunch of stuff. So we slowly built this story up over a couple of years, because I would go off acting and Di would write something else. She's a full-time writer. And then eventually Lingo, Helen Bowden from Australia, who's a New Zealander, picked it up.
Because I was going to say, how'd you get the backing?
Well, we did some work with SPP first, and then we parted ways with them, and then Helen Bowden, who's a mate of mine from Australia, who has her own company, I rang her up and asked her for some advice, and she said, why are you just asking me for advice? Why don't you send me the script? And so I sent her. We had 6 scripts by then, and I sent them to her, and she was in the lounge in LA going back to Australia, and she rang me and she said, don't show this to anybody else, I'm coming straight to New Zealand.
Wow.
So she pounced on it, and then we developed it with her, and so now it's got ITV in the UK, ABC and TVNZ funding along with New Zealand On Air and blah blah blah. And so so it's going to air in 2 weeks, and it's our baby. And we had the premiere in Wellington last week. We played a couple of episodes and I was sick with fear.
Were you?
Sick. I mean, it's easy to be an actor because you just go, oh, well, the show could be shit, but I'm okay.
Yeah. Someone told me to say that. But when it's actually come from here, I spent the whole time, I held Di's hand for 2 episodes, and she said to me at one point, can you just let go of my hand because you're like really sweaty? And I spent the whole, with my eyes on the aisle, just waiting for someone to leave. I was terrified, but it got an amazing response. Oh, of course it did. I've been lucky enough to watch the first episode.
You've seen the first ep?
And prep for this. And I suppose, I'm 54, so, there were parts of that that I just related to that kind of the age. I'd like to be her because she just seemed so staunch, and I just loved her. We're allowed to say she's a teacher, so I just loved the way she taught, and she's got, and she looks real, and my God, did you bike a lot?
Yeah.
I did think that. I was like, I'm not sure I could be cycling up all those hills.
Wellington.
Yeah.
Wellington. But that's what's is that people, that's what people do down there. Like Wellingtonians have the most insane calf muscles.
And the weather does not stop you from doing whatever it is. And then, but your, just the scenery and the way it's shot, which is slightly darker, eh?
Yeah. We just, it's a drama, right? And, but it's a New Zealand drama, which means that I think we as storytellers from here, we've got a slightly Russian sensibility, and the darker something gets, you can find the absurd and the comedic even in the darkest moments. Yeah. And this is quite dark, but we wanted to give it a humanity as well. And because all the performers, apart from one who was Scots, but the Scots have the same sense of humour as we do.
Yeah, they do.
They know how to approach something. I think it's to do with an absence of self-pity. I think it's got something, it feels like that. So we sort of, and then it's shot in that way. And of course, Peter Salmond and Dave Cameron are a beautiful combination. Those two guys, we call them, they were really honorary women on the set. They did such a beautiful job, and they made Wellington look like some city that you've never seen before.
They did. It's just
Isn't
amazing.
it beautiful?
Amazing.
Isn't it beautiful?
Well, we're not going to give anything away because everyone just needs to go and watch it. But I literally gasped at the end of episode 1, and it's played on my mind for the last 2 days.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
Honestly, it's in my head.
Yay! I love this,
and I'm trying to play out what I think might happen next, and then I'm already in love with the character, and then, as I say, I think it's just beautifully shot. But I literally gasped.
Oh, it's so good, Paula.
And I thought, and then I felt it in me. You know what I mean? Like
so
it was,
good.
So
that's what we wanted.
I can't wait to.
We wanted it to be affecting, and also I will say, whatever you think is wherever you think the story's heading, it's not heading there. Yeah. We worked really hard on that. We didn't. We wanted to. It was not that we wanted to deliberately surprise an audience or make it unpredictable. We just wanted to make it human. And the minute you do that, it can go anywhere.
This might sound odd, but I can't remember her name. And I was thinking about that this morning, the character. And then I was thinking,
Penny.
I quite like that, in that she's the absolute dominant, but it's not because she's a wonderful personality, giggly, that I... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how I mean
she's
that? I'm sure I will next time.
Normal. Yeah.
But I was thinking, actually, that's not an insult, or, that's not insulting, or it's not...
No.
It doesn't diminish her at all.
No,
it was kind of because she's almost, for me, more than just her name. And you know what I mean?
I used to forget her name all the time too.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What I have loved
menopause,
too.
But
menopause. Good God. It was like coming in today. Honestly, the great thing about menopause is that you end up having this sort of life like a goldfish because everything's a surprise. This is happening today. Oh, really? Oh, I got that job. I've got 2 kids. How did that happen?
Oh, yeah.
But the other thing that I'm very proud of with this is that even though the central character is a woman in her mid to late 40s, we've got a bunch of young people, and all the young kids that have seen this, including my sons, and have become obsessed with it. And they're saying things like, like we want to see the next one, we want to see the next one, we want to see the next one. And I'm really happy about that because I wanted the story to be strong enough that it was going to bring in a big demographic as opposed to just and not just our demographic, because we're super important, and that's another thing that I felt, and we've got the foxiest bunch of young actors in there.
Aren't they?
My God. And they're toy kids. The 2 of the main characters are played by students who came out of, or still at Toi Whakaari.
Wow.
Insane. So good.
Oh, I love that. Okay, causes that you're passionate about at the moment. This is your chance. You can try and, sell us something that you're passionate about at the moment.
Oh, well, it's tricky, isn't it?
Well, it's women, as you were just saying, as well. And
yeah. I mean, I think the feminist movement's still got a really long way to go. And I think, we've come some way, but I also think for young women, I think a lot about young women now, and what I find really fascinating at the moment is that our generation, we were all super naughty. Like we went out partying and we drank and we took drugs and we played and we this and that. The generation of my kids, they're not doing that.
No,
because they've got nothing to rebel against. But what they are doing is they're having an incredible conversation with gender identity. And that is, I feel like the lid's just come off that. And it's not a cause that I'm out there with, but it's a cause it's
watching,
not even a cause. It's a shift in how we live, which I think is seismic. And I'm really... like young, this generation, I'm just in love with for that. Like what they're doing, I think is so amazing. I fly a lot, so it's not a cause; it's a source of enormous guilt and shame because I fly a lot, and the only thing that's really important at the moment is climate change to me. And this week, world peace.
Yeah.
What do we?
Yeah,
it's just.
I had tears watching the TV last night.
Heartbreaking.
It's
just how do it? That's it.
I know.
So, to me,
God, and the world leaders that we're relying on to help
the world leaders that we're relying on right now. I know. It's awful. It's just awful.
It's like literally, I don't say Rome is burning, but you know what I mean? Like literally Rome is burning, and we're sending someone in with a bucket of water. That's going to spill half of it on the way.
That's right. And it feels to me like, again, we're lacking wisdom.
Yeah.
So there aren't causes that I'm, out in front of at the moment, other than this sense of what we talked about before. Is I really feel like more than anything, as humans, we've got to get off social media all the time for our news and our information, and slow right down and back right up, and just start listening again, because it's frightening where we're heading right now.
Oh, well, to all of you...
Not to be a downer about it.
No, but to all of those that are listening, that is bloody good advice, and that's what this podcast is about. So, Robyn, I now give you the opportunity to ask me a question if you would like to. You don't have to, but it's ask me anything, so you're allowed to ask me something if you would like to.
Okay. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
That's a good question.
Honestly.
Coffee. I think coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I touch my phone to find out the time, because I try and wake up without an alarm.
Oh, what time do you wake up?
Normally about 6.
Wow, that's impressive.
Is it?
What time do you go to bed?
Early, 9:30.
Ah.
And then I wake up with my menopause for a good couple of hours in the middle of all of that.
Oh, what are you doing for menopause?
Nothing, which I feel like I should be.
HRT, I have to tell you.
Yeah, no, it's time.
Yeah.
I tried to kind of soldier.
No.
Yeah.
It's don't.
No.
Seriously, don't. There's no need to.
No. So that's what I do need to do.
Okay.
But so I'm an early morning waker, and I'm trying, and have been quite successful in walking my dog first thing. So I try not to go on my phone immediately.
That's
so
good.
I will check if there's a text or something. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone's tried to message me in the night, and you always, doesn't matter how old your kids get.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's alive in the world right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to not think. I'm trying to get up, get in, and go out the door.
Oh, this is good. I don't do that.
Because if I stop, I'm sitting around for an hour listening to news, because I'm a news junkie.
Yes. Yeah. What kind of dog have you got?
Black lab. When you were talking before about your kids and how you speak to them, I was going to say my same lesson is how I talk to my dog. Well, if I shout at my dog, it just hurts her, and it's just not who she is.
I've got 2 dogs, and one of them doesn't care. One of them looks at me like,
yeah, whatever. Yeah,
and the other one's like,
yeah, yeah. So all this dog wants to do is please me. You know, and so once you know that, actually how you speak to her and how you train her.
So how did you
different.
make yourself, because I need to do this and I don't, how did you make yourself get up in the morning, not look at your phone except for text, and then get out the door with your dog?
No thinking. And you just, as I'm lying there and waking up, if you think about it, you won't do it.
This is good
It's what's
advice.
in my head.
Okay.
If I think about it, I won't do it. If I think about it, I won't do it. You are going to pee. You're going to put on your bra while you're on the toilet. And then doesn't matter what you look like. That's a good thing as well. She's cap on. She's out.
Okay.
Don't think about it.
I'm going to try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Robyn, I have been a fan for years, so I am just so appreciative that you came in today and had a chat.
That was so fun.
And so everybody go and catch the new series After the Party, Sunday nights on TVNZ1. And that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. If you enjoyed this episode, please go follow the podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I'd love to hear from you. Ask Paula at nzherald.co.nz. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram or LinkedIn, but I won't be looking at it first thing in the morning. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.